Julia Bullock is a Grammy Award-winning soprano taking on the role of festival director for the 2026 Cincinnati May Festival. Bullock is no stranger to Cincinnati. She's worked with the Cincinnati Symphony and sang in Cincinnati Opera's production of John Adams's El Niño in 2023. When she got the call to direct the festival, she started at the library. Julia Bullock, it's an honor to share space with you. Thank you so much for joining me.
Absolute pleasure. Thanks for having me, Kiana.
What was your first instinct when you got the call to direct the Cincinnati May Festival?
Well, it's funny you mentioned the library. Honestly, my first instinct was to start researching the festival, its legacy, the program history, and then also just the city of Cincinnati, because I sort of embarrassingly didn't know that much about this extraordinary festival and the commitment that the city has made for 125 years
Yeah,
to both music and culture.
absolutely. You requested a book called A City That Sings, Cincinnati's Choral Tradition, 1800 to 2012, before you started programming. What did you find in those archives, and how did that change what you thought this festival could be?
Well, I thought the book was just so well written, and it helped to put into context both the development of the city and then also alongside the development of the festival. Um, of course, the festival began in kind of a grassroots way with people just gathering to sing in small volunteer groups. And then slowly over years, and actually was with the support of Maria Longworth Nichols, who was a potter, an artist in her own right, but she owned one of the first major American businesses as a woman in Cincinnati. And it was her who went to some of the men in the town who had money to help um, establish the May Festival and also to start contributing to the music hall. Um, so, and then alongside all of that, the book talked about the social and political landscape alongside the history of the festival. And one thing that struck me is that while the festival talked about from its founding this element of being inclusive, it still very much struggled with discrimination, the realities of discrimination. And it wasn't until 70 years ago that they integrated their festival, literally, by inviting two, well, actually, a wonderful group of Black American artists, but two very notable singers, the soprano Leontine Price and William Warfield, to sing in Porgy and Bess. And that was the first time that any Black artists were invited to be a part of the festival.
Mm.
And given that this year, 2026, is an anniversary year, um, given, I think, the city's commitment to just honoring its history in an unabridged way, and also that the staff of the May Festival is very much committed to that. Not, excuse me, um, and not shielding us from any aspects of our history or denying any aspects of it. Um, but I think that actually has it sort of laid the groundwork for me for how to move forward with all programming ideas.
Mm.
And thankfully, um, Matthew Swanson, who is the music director of the festival, and also Anthony Paget, who is one of the administrators of the Cincinnati Symphony Orchestra, was also very much on board with this vision. And yeah, we've just been able to, I think, share something that honors the city, honors its history, the legacy, and also just the realities of it.
Yeah. Upon researching some of your other curatorial work, and hearing what you said in the letter when you accepted the position, you've talked a little about wanting to hold the tension here, speaking of Porgy and Bess, about what the Gershwins took from Black artists and what this piece gave back. First, can you tell me a little bit about the decision to keep Porgy and Bess in the program in 2026? And then how do you think about that as a performer stepping into the role as well as a curator?
Mm. Well, I think the Gershwins, like so many artists who I love and whose work that I love, um, they try to utilize their platforms to ensure that we are viewing each other as complete human beings.
Mm,
So when I look at the piece of Porgy and Bess and all of the different characters that were developed, these are complete individuals. Almost every single character has some sort of storyline from beginning to end. And I think it's only through either sometimes some direction that is either given by a producer or somebody who's maybe not so thoughtful that can sometimes encourage a more flattened iteration in terms of the performance and sharing of these characters. But I do think the Gershwins actually gave really well-rounded
mhm,
characters, even for those who are like quote unquote smaller roles.
mhm,
Um, and what it provided was an opportunity for predominantly white audiences in the United States and then also across the globe to start reckoning with their own prejudices.
mhm,
And despite the challenges that some of these characters face, they all go through extreme growth and acknowledgement also of those challenges.
mhm.
Um, and so I never hesitate. Actually, my appreciation for Porgy and Bess um, is massive. Actually, I think, of course, the realities of appropriation come into question
Mhm,
when um, when anyone chooses to write about a group of people when they're not a part of that community, like integrated themselves into that community. But I think the Gershwins' intentions were very clear. And I also think their efforts to do their own research was clear. Did it come at the expense of some artists? I mean, I think that it's an undeniable truth.
sure. Mhm,
Um, but again, I didn't hesitate to include Porgy and Bess um, in the festival this year because of its significance for the festival itself. And also, I really appreciate the piece.
mhm,
One thing, though, that I wanted to ensure is that this the sound of community singing was something that was like really explicit musically. Um,
mhm.
and so when I presented this idea at our initial meetings for the May Festival programming, I shared one of my favorite recordings of the piece, which was a live performance from the 1950s. And it opens with this almost like improvised riffing on the musical themes that the Gershwins wrote. And I asked if we could involve a community choir with roots in improvisation
Mhm.
to participate and contribute to this. And so, thankfully, Jason Alexander Holmes, who's one of the music directors of the May Festival, he deals with a lot of the youth programming. He works with the Classical Roots Community Choir, and so they're also going to be invited to infuse the score with all of its vitality, like not all of its vitality, but like additional
Great.
vitality, which I think is so essential. And I'm really grateful also to the Gershwin estate for approving the selections that I wanted to put together for this particular iteration.
That's beautiful. The community aspect, I think, is going to be so unique and such a beautiful thing for Cincinnati to see.
I hope so. I hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a part of you all, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's turn to the eclectic mass. As I
Mm.
understand it, it's a single liturgical arc. It includes Palestrina, Bach, Bonds, and Simon, as in Carlos Simon. That's such an interesting concept. What does that format let you say that a singular composer mass cannot?
Well, I think it allows for, sorry, so like most um, subjects uh, with like human preoccupations, there's usually some sort of form that comes out of it, and the
Mhm.
structure of the mass is one of those forms. Masses allow people to reflect on the love and also loss of life,
Mhm.
and all of its implications. Um, and what I love about this eclectic mass is that it allows us to acknowledge that across centuries, human beings have been reflecting on this subject matter,
Mhm.
and wrestling, not just reflecting on it, but like wrestling with this subject matter. Um, and the idea of the mass, and even just the the whole program, I think, has quite an eclectic range of repertoire.
Yeah.
It came out of the festival's earliest programs, where they had, excerpts from symphonies to arias, um, to mass, like sometimes including like hundreds of people on stage singing.
Wow.
Um, it was just a broad range of repertoire in scale. And I wanted to have, and it was quite celebratory. So I wanted to find a way to make that a reality.
Mhm.
So opening with the Bruckner Psalm 150 is also honoring the German history of the festival and all this kind of leader singing. And so, yeah, just the Germanic roots. And then including songs that were orchestrated by songs that were written by Margaret Bonds and Zemlinsky, with this poetry of Harlem Renaissance composers, and most notably Langston Hughes. It creates a kind of through line, I think, throughout the festival, where if people who choose to come to every one of these concerts, they're going to be able to understand these kind of echoes of theme and also of repeated resonances.
Mm-hmm. You have so perfectly led into this next question. All of that programming from Langston Hughes to Duke Ellington, you keep coming back to composers and performers that were historically shut out of stages like this.
Mm.
Given the political moment we're in right now, what does it mean to do work like this with a 150-year-old institution?
Well, I guess I'm just grateful to have the opportunity,
Hmm.
um, because I do not take it in a casual way.
Hmm.
I think that is exactly the mindset and feelings also of my predecessors, um, in the field of the arts in particular. Um, so this is, I think, what has been so unique about building this festival with organizations like the Cincinnati Symphony, and also just the May Festival staff, is that they have been tremendous partners. And any time that I have asked for additional support, whether that came to researching or coming up with some more repertoire ideas that we could then go back and forth about, to reviewing all of the text language that was going to be released and published for audiences to um, you know review, that I have been able to be as involved as I want to be. And so again, I just feel like their commitment, like the social and cultural responsibility that they feel, and they're here. These people are living here in Cincinnati year round. I'm here for these few weeks, and of course, I visited now I think 5 times since I've gotten this appointment, which has been so wonderful. Um, but it just shows to me that um, they are wanting to provide a space that is welcoming and genuinely inclusive, and that they're also not taking their year-round role in any with any kind of um, uh, a lack of consciousness. I'll
Right,
just put it that way.
right.
Put it that way.
You are singing in the festival as well as directing it, including Bess on closing night. That's so exciting. And I think there's something worth noting about being inside the music rather than just behind the curatorial decisions. What does that feel like? What does performing your own creation feel like, and how does it change what you hear?
How does it change what I hear? That's a wonderful question. Well, I think it over the course of these weeks, I will, there's just been a lot of preparatory work going in, and I want to make sure that all of the elements are there to help people just, um, so that, sorry, um, any kind of barriers that exist. So for people who maybe are the first time attending a live concert with orchestra and choir, that have all of the information at their disposal so that they just can sit there and enjoy it, honestly. Um, so yeah, I guess I'm not fully answering your question. I'm avoiding the answering the singer question. But um, honestly, I think I'll just be able to appreciate the contributions of the many individuals who have helped make this all possible.
Mhm.
And I am one voice of many that will be on stage. Um, but I think that we will have this beautiful shared intention. And yeah, I'm thrilled to be invited into the fold of all of that.
hmm Are you connecting with it differently as you have done all of this extensive research? Does that change how you feel singing the role?
Um, I guess no, because I I research just about everything that I do pretty extensively.
Right. Kind of have
In
to.
part, yeah, I guess just in part to feel certain of what I'm doing and the choices that I'm making. And of course, in this iteration of Porgy and Bess, I will be singing more than just Bess's material,
Mm-hmm.
and so will Alfred Walker. He'll be singing more than just Porgy's material. I'm not quite sure how to answer that in any other way,
hmm
other than I'm just great to have a chance to bring my voice to it again.
Absolutely. Thank you. The May
Mm.
Festival brings in a new director each year, which means you have spent what I gathered 3 years building something you'll ultimately hand off to the next director. What do you hope the 2026 festival leaves behind for Cincinnati, for the tradition, for the field?
Mm. Well, I just hope that anyone who decides to take on this role as festival director will, um, well, I hate to use the word, will take it seriously, but that it's not just a time to like put your name on a few program booklets
Right.
and call it. Um, I really do view every opportunity that I have, particularly when it comes to curating, as a chance to contribute something that
Mhm.
is legitimate. And I think the only way to be legitimate in your contributions um, is to put forth your best efforts to authentically connect with that
Mhm.
place and with those people. And that just takes time. It takes time and some, of course, like that commitment on all fronts. Um, so yes, I think there's many different, quote unquote angles you can take this festival because there is so much repertoire. There are so many wonderful singers. um, and just like American history, there are many different facets to it. Um, and so I just hope it keeps broadening its scope. Um, and actually, some of the programming that we have done with the festival this year, of which I'm like most proud, are the events that are being held around all of the concerts. So there's going to be an event called Dîner aux Fleurs, Dining in the Flowers.
Oh, wow.
Um, and so people can, before the opening night, they can come uh, at 5 p.m. on May 15th and be in the park outside of the music hall, and they can hear um, some students from the Cincinnati Jazz Academy play. You can bring picnic baskets, or you can pre-order, some food from the Findlay Market and just eat outside and hang. And then you'll be called into the theater when the time is to enter. So like that was something also that was just inspired by the initial years of the festival when they had like kind of parades and block parties.
Mhm.
Um, there's also going to be a wonderful, it's called the May Festival Flower Project. And there will be these installations of flowers that are inspired by the May Festival and were created by community partners. And all of these partners include the Contemporary Arts Center, the Cincinnati Art Museum, the May Festival Chorus, the Clifton Cultural Arts Center, the Cincinnati Museum Center, the Cincinnati Art Museum, and the Cincinnati Children's Hospital. It's like these are all
Wow.
people, again, like this is the fabric of the city, and they're all just wanting to contribute in some way to this beautiful festival through flowers. How much more lovely can it be? Um, and also the National Underground Railroad Freedom Center will be they will have an exhibition that will be in the Founders Room of Music Hall throughout the duration of the festival. That was something that I wanted to involve the National Underground Railroad Freedom Center
Mhm.
from the beginning, and I just think this is a great way also to bring attention to the work that they're doing here. Um, and yes, there's some other concerts that are taking place. There's the Langston Hughes, it's called A Dream Deferred, Langston Hughes
Mhm.
in Song. And that is a recital that will feature Nicole Cabell, who is a wonderful soprano, myself, a baritone Sankara Haruna, and also Stephanie Matsuo, who is the concertmaster of the Cincinnati Symphony. She'll be playing violin, and Christopher Pell will be playing the clarinet. He's the principal clarinetist. And it's like that. Anyway, so that's just like a one, and that will be um, held at the Memorial Hall, and that's actually the first time that Memorial Hall, which is right next door to Music Hall, that's the first time that the Memorial Hall will be a part of the music festival, which is really wonderful. Um, and then there is, sorry, I'm just talking about every little
Oh,
thing
that's
we've done.
okay. Well, actually, my final question was going to be Louisville is about a little under 2 hours south of Cincinnati. My question was going to be
Yeah,
why make the trek from Louisville to Cincinnati? But you have answered it. I mean,
yeah.
to just dine among the flowers before the concert. I mean, all of that sounds like such a beautiful and unique experience for this year's May Festival.
Mm. Well, I really hope it will be. And it'll be I hope that each event that we have will be a wonderful place to gather. One wonderful, I'm a relatively new parent. I have a
Oh,
3-year-old.
congratulations.
And thank you. And yeah, of course, John Lucas is here. He'll
Oh,
be
good.
here for the whole yes. Um, but one thing that I brought up to the May Festival is this importance of making spaces that are also comfortable for families and for young people.
Mhm.
There will be a like young person's concert that we will right now 1,500 students will be coming to sing, and this is a event
Awesome.
that is just for them. But also at the second concert, The Water's Journey, there will be we'll be performing Duke Ellington's The River, which is the first time the Cincinnati Symphony has ever performed this piece. And that'll be followed by a sea symphony by Ralph Vaughan Williams, which
Mm.
is this full choral symphony. Um, but at this event, the reason why I'm bringing it up, just in context of families, is that there's going to be a May Festival Family Lounge that is will be held in the Wilkes Studio, and it will be open from the beginning of the concert through the intermission. And it's a place for families to listen to the river. They're going to have like snacks. They're going to have activities that are surrounding the river theme and Duke Ellington. So, and that is being organized by the wonderfully enthusiastic May Festival staff. So it's things like this that I
Mhm.
think will, it's like, why make the trek? Because it's a place for, I think, everyone in the surrounding areas. I think, just go through the complete offerings at the May Festival this year. And I think you'll find, if at least not, all of the events, certainly there's going to be one event that I hope you'll be drawn to experience.
Absolutely. Make the trek up the Ohio River to hear the River Suite. Like that's picturesque.
Perfect. Perfect wording.
Well, thank you so much for joining me. We're so looking forward to the 2026 Cincinnati May Festival.
As am I, Kiana. Thank you.